The finale, Conformity Gate, Byler, I will get into it all. So buckle in, spoilers for the entire show ahead. Also, don't expect this to be comprehensive at all. I just want to rant about this crap. Okay, let's go. I remember first watching Stranger Things and being entranced by the dynamic plot, the vibrant characters, and the detailed world. Well, now worlds. It honestly started off really strong, besides a few dud episodes and a few lame storylines. In my opinion, for the most part, I loved this show. So what the hell happened? First off, let's just get this out of the way. This is not another YouTuber telling you about how the writing now sucks, or the story now sucks, or the show now sucks. Because throughout this video, I'm going to be ranting about this show, explaining the Conformity Gate, combating some of the points that people have brought up about it, and sort of explaining what it is as well. And then I'm going to be providing my own personal theory. That's not a joke. This is a genuine theory for the show. You might like it, you might, but stick to the end to figure out what it is. Regardless, I'm here to explain that the writers themselves have admitted why the show inevitably failed. Seriously, show ruined even before season 5 was announced. And honestly, that sealed my thoughts before the final episode even aired. In order to explain why this moment is detrimental to the show, imagine this. Say this pencil is Stranger Things, and the lead inside is all the episodes. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just bear with me. As you use the pencil, the lead might break a little bit. But let's say you're writing, and eventually you run out of lead, and there's only a tiny bit left. And then at the very end, the lead breaks. You're not that sad, but if the lead split in half earlier on, you would be a lot more upset. Sorry, I just always wanted to explain something like how they explain it in Stranger Things. The lead breaking is characters dying. Don't get me wrong, tons of people have died in Stranger Things, semi-important characters too. Barb, Bob, Billy, oh my god, they're racist. There's a bigger issue that I've noticed though. We got 6 little kids, now 18. They've freaking fought demons, and you mean to tell me that not a single one of these little fuckers have died? 2 went into a Russian bunker, and one of them was black. The writers hate killing these main characters so much that they killed Max, and then they're like, we want her in the show still. Now granted, Max is one of my favorite characters, but also, damn, nah, she's just in a coma. Yes, I know it's not an actual coma, it's just a memory, but I call cap on the writers knowing that that's the direction they would take that story. I know damn well they didn't know it would be a memory coma. No, all that I'm saying right now is before I had watched the final episode, but I promise it'll make more sense as to why it doesn't matter that I wrote all of this before seeing the final episode. It doesn't matter because of the pencil. I don't know what happens in the final episode, but Joyce hasn't died, Hopper hasn't died, Nancy, Steve, Jonathan, one of them gotta die, right? And before the final episode, not a single real main character has died. So why is that so important, and why is it ruining the show? So Stranger Things is done, right? And we don't ever go back to this world. Let's say in the final episode, Hopper dies. Okay, 10 minutes later, end credits. My face? Okay, let's say 11 dies. 10 minutes later, episode over, end credits. I'm not really that sad. Also, I know some of y'all are convinced that we are going back to this town because of Conformity Gate, but I promise just stick around, we're gonna get there very soon. Again, I'll briefly explain what Conformity Gate is to anyone who has a job, but I'm gonna do it poorly so that my comment warriors got me in the comments. Y'all, please come in clutch with all the crap that I'm about to gloss the hell over. Anyways, let's say one of those little kids die at the end of the show, at the end of the episode, in the final episode. I'll be sad unless it's Dustin for like 10 minutes, and then I'm going on with my life. Do you see what I mean? How am I supposed to be sad at a character dying if I don't have time to grieve? What made deaths like Billy's impactful? Because for one, he was on the show for 2 seasons, and 2, because we actually got to see the grief that Max saw. Because also, why were y'all defending Billy? I get that he was conventionally attractive, but bro was racist. Meanwhile, you got the other dude that like hated the freaking hellfire, but bro was just ignorant. But y'all hated him, but y'all are like, oh well, Billy's hot, so I can excuse racism, but I just what? No. Anyways, we get to see Max struggle with her grief because she had so many mixed feelings about her brother. So even a death like Billy's actually had an impact, and we got to see that on a character for the rest of the show. During this part of the video, I don't know who's died in the finale, but it really sort of doesn't matter at all. Besides symbolic deaths like, oh, Hopper's gonna die and he sacrificed his life for his new daughter 11, aw. Or Mike sacrifices his life for his crazy friend zone Will. Any combination or selection of characters could die in the final episode, and 10 minutes later, end credits. They're all dead in my eyes. They're all gone. I leave the world. Just imagine, in the penultimate episode, Dustin died. For one, you wouldn't know what happens for an entire week, but also it could impact a plan, and also the characters are grieving in the final episode. Even just one episode before, a single death could have impacted so much in the finale and changed the course of the characters' directions. Now, don't get me wrong. It feels weird to want characters to die, but I'll explain why it's actually very crucial and important. As of right now, Vecna is not scary. He's not intimidating, and personally, I don't find him to be an interesting villain. The lack of interestingness is probably because the writers would rather spend hella long with Hopper and Russia than fleshing out the motives of Vecna, but I digress. Actually, I don't digress. I don't. I get that there's an entire play, and I get the origin story of Vecna, but it's dumb, and it took until the second to last episode to even explain what his ultimate plan was, and even then, I don't know why he wants to do it. He wants to merge the Abyss and Earth? Why? To get rid of daylight savings time? Like, what's the point? Anyways, characters need to die so there's actual stakes. And yes, Vecna has killed characters before, but they're all background military people that we don't care about. You can tell me that Vecna is scary. You can show him literally lifting someone with his brain, but you can't make me fear him or feel scared for the characters if he hasn't killed one of those single little fuckers yet. If he knows that there are main foils to his plans, why would he not just go sneak attack freaking Will or 11, especially when they're separate from the group? Like, why is he like, Will, I'll tell them you're gay if you try to stop me? No. Kill him. What? Bro needs to kill someone. It's actually insane that this show has gone on for 10 years and not a single one of these little fuckers have died. Especially Dustin. Listen, okay, I don't actually hate Dustin, but he has ruined at least 3 of the seasons. In season 2, he had his little pet that was a freaking demi-dog. Okay, he ruined that. In season 3, he's like, oh, let's just sing our little song, and oh, Hopper's in Russia now, or Hopper's dead from their perspective. Like, he ruined that. Season 4, I forget what he did, but he probably ruined season 4 as well. Oh yeah, season 4, he's like trying to rile people up with freaking Hellfire Group. Like, I get that Hellfire was in the right, but also there's a time and place, and Dustin, you need a code switch and lay low. Okay, stop trying to rile up people who think you're in a cult. Why are you trying to do that? He's right here. I'm sorry, Dustin. I'm sorry. Before I jump back in after watching the season finale, let me quickly state another big issue that I've discovered, especially while watching this season. Remembering certain aspects of the story and the lore feels like a chore. I did not mean to make that rhyme. In Stranger Things, characters say and give a speech about literally everything. How am I supposed to filter through what's important and what's not? There's so much information that I've completely forgotten about. I remember rewatching season 4 a few weeks before season 5 came out, and I was like, oh yeah, the whole grandfather clock thing. I forgot about all that. It's a chore because unless you rewatch all the seasons and extensively take notes or watch heavy spoiler show, there's so much that you're gonna miss and forget about. Like, did you even remember that Joyce and Hopper wore freaking hazmat suits when trying to rescue Will from the Upside Down? But now every time someone goes into the Upside Down, they're walking in willy-nilly in freaking PJs. I'm like, what is this? Freaking space and Jimmy Neutron?
How come whenever we're in outer space, we don't gotta wear helmets?
Good question, Sheen. And the answer is quite interesting. You see...
It's like a freaking Marvel movie. Okay, I'm gonna go watch the final episode and then come back with my thoughts. Okay, what the fuck was that? So here are my thoughts on season 5, as well as a general season ranking. I freaking love season 3. If I had to rank the seasons, it would be season 3, 1, 2, 4, and 5. 5 had the opportunity to go above 4, especially with the first volume. Volume 2 was genuinely atrocious. What the actual hell? But obviously we had already seen that. Let's talk about this finale. Not a single main character died. Now listen, me personally, I'm team 11 died, but The Duffer Brothers are so scared of making fans sad that characters die that they left it ambiguous. It's not even confirmed if she's dead or not, and I'll get into why I think she is dead later in this video. Why do they play it safe at every turn? Speaking of play it safe, what the hell was that boss fight? And what were these stakes? Oh no, Steve fell off a tower. My entire face. That was my face. Oh no, Nancy is bait and she's running from the mind flare. Oh, let's just all quickly climb up these massive cliffs in like 3 seconds and then freaking attack the mind flare. What? And then they start singing Kumbaya. And then they kill Vecna. At the very least, considering the whole hive mind and the connection between Vecna and Will, shouldn't Will be at least a little fricked up right now? Like, I'm talking end of season 4 max. Will should be looking like that right now. Speaking of Will, his coming out scene was apparently longer than the entire final battle, so that's cool. Also, yes, I know that Kali died 8 and she's an important character. No, she's not even a main character, and she also sucked, and she didn't even sacrifice herself, so her death was not even that impactful. It could have been awesome if she sacrificed her life for 11, but they didn't even expect that she would get shot by the freaking dude. So it was just kind of like, oh no, a character from the lowest rated episode prior to this season died? Ah, crap. And I'm watching that and I'm like, why the F did they bring her back other than the fact that they wanted to make the show seem a bit more full circle? Hey, we're not wasting this character we introduced for 1 episode. Really? My overall thoughts on the finale is that it was about 40% as good as it possibly could have been, given the absolute fumble that the middle of the season was. Now, let's talk about what most people clicking on this video are probably most interested in. Conformity Gate. Blah, 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 there's a secret final episode, blah, 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 the ending felt too perfect. There's inconsistencies in the story. There are plot holes that aren't filled. There's no way Mike and Nancy would just conform to being their dad and their mom, basically, especially when the entire first season of the show was those characters breaking stereotypes. I need you to sit down for this. Now, while I do understand that there are specific moments that really make a conspiracy like Conformity Gate sound like a possibility, and while I do think it's fun to have conspiracies about certain things like these, and a final episode that actually resolves really well, trust me, I want that. I think you're giving the writers too much credit, however. When you have 4 seasons of a show with so many unanswered questions, so many plot developments and ideas, and then you also have to answer all those questions in a final season in 12 or so hours, while also introducing brand new information, new characters, new relationships, the entire motive for the bad guy's plan, how the hell do you fit all that in? The answer is you don't. You don't fit it in. They had to introduce Henry's mind labyrinth, the abyss, the base and the upside down, all of this. You can't do all of that. You're done for. And especially if half the time is wasted giving plot developments to characters just for full circle moments. Don't give the writers too much credit. Now, don't get me wrong. The first 3 seasons of this show are really some of my favorite television. And the 4th season, despite me thinking that the Hopper stuff was dumb and it was just a bit too long, I still enjoyed it. I will say though, my perception of season 4 is now ruined ever since season 5 was released. But seriously though, the stuff with Hawkins and Vecna was super interesting. But if I ever rewatch season 4, you could not get me to rewatch the Hopper scenes. I'm skipping through them. That was boring as Anyways, the writers were ambitious, but once these characters truly became fan favorites, and so many other characters also became fan favorites like Robin, Steve, even freaking 1 episode Chrissy, the writers were like, oh crap, we can't kill anyone, oh no, oh we regret killing Chrissy, oh no, oh let's just not kill anyone that's important now. We don't want to upset anyone. We want to play it safe. And that sucks because if you told me 10 years ago that the finale of Stranger Things would be disappointing, my response would not be, ah crap. My response would be, how? How do you fumble this bag so bad? And it's by playing it safe. Now it's time to talk about some unanswered questions that have to do with people's belief in Conformity Gate, as well as just some other unanswered questions. And I'll be giving my responses on them as well. So first off, is 11 dead or alive? Now, I know a lot of people assume that, oh, well, she's just alive and that was the plan. No, she's dead. Now, I'll explain why I think she's dead. One, the plan that Kali and 11 would have concocted, for one, they had like a whole dialogue about goodbye, sister, but they were alone. So why the hell would they do that if they were alone? Second, if Kali was doing an illusion, they blew up the middle of the upside down where the freaking base is. So how the hell would she do the illusion when she's like the first to go? Well, you may be saying, Hulo, what about Mike? He went into 11's little brain hole. I think he just had a vision about it. I truly do. I think 11 is dead, or at the very least, I don't think the illusion of her running away and it was a fake 11, I don't think any of that happened. So I just think she's dead. The book spells out X a lie. No, it doesn't. Somebody photoshopped that or something. It says X I use. People hear wake up Mike during the WSQK broadcast. That's psychological. When trained to listen for something, you will hear it. Here's an example.
That is embarrassing! That is embarrassing! That is embarrassing! That is embarrassing!
The military disappeared and the Stranger Things characters didn't really face any repercussions. Freaking Hopper and Nancy killing people, freaking hijacking the military base, freaking going into the upside down. It's a TV show. Seriously, when have repercussions ever mattered in Stranger Things? Like, they haven't gone breaking and entering when they broke into Starcourt Mall. What are they gonna do? The story doesn't care, and I don't care. And it doesn't matter. I'm not even that shocked that the military didn't stick around or that they weren't locked up. It's Stranger Things. I truly think that they just wanted a no conflict epilogue. All right, what about everyone acting weird in the finale and everyone's like posing like Vecna and there's like signs that are empty apparently and everyone's super happy out of nowhere. Granted, this could be weird, but it could just be poor art direction and poor direction for the extras. What about the Mr. What's-Its games like in Joyce and Hopper's cabin and also in Mike's basement? Yes, this is weird, but the show has constantly and consistently put posters and other physical media as references to things that have happened in the show. That could just be a similar case here. What about the door handles being flipped to the wrong side? I'm actually going to come back to this, so stay tuned. Why didn't Vecna call for the Demidogs or the Demigorgons during the final battle? Now, I know the Duffer Brothers said that he was caught off guard. He still probably could have. In my opinion, I think it was purely budgetary, and also I just didn't think the writers wanted to have to deal with all of that. Like, I know that sounds like a cop-out, but genuinely, I think it was for budgetary reasons and because the writers didn't want to write that big of a battle. Okay, what about they used Heroes by David Bowie during every fake-out? They used it when Will's body was found, but it wasn't actually Will's body. Or when we believed that Hopper died in the end of season 3. And then they used it at the very end of this season. Very end of the show. Which means, were we faked out once again? Was 11 not actually dead? Was this how? Was that? The idea to use that song wasn't even the writer's idea. Joe Keery came up with the idea to use it for the final end credits. So I don't think that part is legit either. Before I wrap this up and I give my actual theory, I just want to say that I'm not trying to be a hater and I'm not trying to shut down Conformity Gate or anything that people believe in. I'm not trying to be a buzzkill. I love Stranger Things. I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't. But I will say I'm not above criticizing something that I like, especially when there's no more room for redemption. So here's my theory, and this is legit. I call it Ragegate. I think Stranger Things and Netflix wants your money. Sounds obvious, but hear me out. When a show answers every question, even in an unsatisfying way, people talk about it for a few weeks after and then pretty much it goes away. People stop talking about it. The show's over. Netflix doesn't want that. When Squid Game season 2 and season 3 dropped, you know damn well that was just one season, and I get there was like post-production needs, but they could have just delayed the release of one big season. No, they split it up, mostly so that people would at least have to buy a subscription to Netflix for 2 extra months. It also widens the lifespan of the show as well. I also remember when season 4 was released and people complained about there being 2 volumes. I remember the Duffer Brothers even said that they were going to have season 5 be one straight season, and that was a lie. That was a freaking lie. By splitting the season up into 3 big chunks, and especially on holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, people are going to be watching it like crazy and extending their subscriptions. They're going to be talking about it. They're going to be tweeting about it, posting about it, buying merch, literally creating days to celebrate the show. They're also going to be theorizing a lot more about any little pocket of information that they get. The show's over, but it doesn't feel that way because I believe Stranger Things intentionally created plot holes or strange occurrences so that fans would theorize to create theories about the show not truly being over. My theory also explains Eleven's ambiguous death. Why else would they keep it ambiguous besides the fact that they're so scared of killing characters? Well, it's because now people are theorizing. They want people to revisit certain parts of the episode and think, wait, could she have ran to the other side? Did she do that? Did she do this? It's sad, but I truly believe that the writers are toying with the viewers so that they obsess over this show just long enough for them to want to watch the animated spinoff coming soon. I think the door handle switching is a perfect example of something that they could have intentionally done just to create some issues with continuity and get people excited and thinking that there's something shifty going on, because that's something that if anyone in post-production caught, they could have easily done some VFX work to switch the door handles and even switch the opening of the door. But I also think that it's a perfect example of something that most people would just brush over, me on first watch, but a lot of fans that are overanalyzing everything would freak the hell out about. I think buzz about conspiracy theories and inconsistencies in the show create more buzz, and it draws people to wanting to watch the show even more. Netflix wants people to talk about Stranger Things weeks, months, years after this final episode has dropped. I think some of the weird behavior from background extras and even main characters in the finale is intentional to have people on their toes theorizing if there's something more. Because if you keep people waiting when there's nothing there, you can take a lot out of them. Their time, their money, their energy, their money. Their money. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the plot holes and inconsistencies are chopped up to the fact that the writers seriously messed up. I'm not going to give them entirely that much credit, even though I do believe in this theory of Ragegate. I think the writers aren't perfect, and I also think it's a TV show, so who cares? Like, seriously, oh, Max, how would Max graduate? Who cares? It's a TV show. I think they just sprinkled in just enough information and inconsistencies for fans to believe that there's something there when there's truly not. And while my theory may be sad and disappointing, in my head it makes the most amount of sense. Because Conformity Gate requires Stranger Things to premiere the finale in 500 theaters, say it's the finale, claim that all the episodes are now available, and it relies on a few small inconsistencies and not even relating to the biggest plot question of, oh, is 11 dead or alive? Like, seriously, there's almost no correlation between 11 being dead or alive and Conformity Gate. Like, there's really not. If you're a Conformity Gate believer, or if you're just disappointed by how the show ended, for one, you're allowed to believe whatever you believe. And regardless, I still hope you enjoyed this video. But I just want to say I'm sorry. And I think we all deserved better. And if you enjoyed this final season, then that's great. Seriously, I hope that somebody liked it at least 1% more than me. I plan on ranting about television and movies a lot more on this channel, so if you're interested in checking that out, subscribe. I'll take care of the rest. It's that easy. So let me know in the comments below if you believe in Ragegate, or if you think I'm just another crazy conspirator. Oh, also, in terms of Byler, I think that the writers forgot about it mostly. It was kind of an afterthought, and they just shoved a little bit about it into the end, but really there was no resolution. Just like how I did it with this video. Sorry to all the shippers. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye, camera.